What's up, guys? We are back with another installment of things I said I wasn't gonna buy. I'm not normally a 1/6 guy, you know, I do the Motu stuff, and I do some bigger things that maybe aren't in a scale really at all, but I tend to not do 1/6 stuff. So when ThreeZero came out with their 1/6 scale Power Rangers, I said, I don't need those. I have Lightning Collection, Mezco's coming out with Power Rangers, Super 7's coming out with Power Rangers. But of course, as you can see, that didn't really last very long because I got myself a Tommy Green Ranger figure to check them out. I say that, and I have a Red Ranger also already on the way. It's just not here as of this filming. So I guess I'm in at least for two. So we've got a 1/6 scale Power Ranger here, and it comes in a pretty snazzy box too. So ThreeZero usually does really nice boxes. I don't have a ton of their stuff, not yet anyway. I'm getting more and more and more apparently. But this is great presentation. So these guys come individually. They also come in a big 6-pack as far as the core 6 Rangers. But as far as the single packs go, you've got a big shot of Tommy there in the front with a foil embossed dragon coin. You've got the Green Ranger name down on the bottom. You've just got like logos on the side panel, and on the back of the box has got some product shots as well as kind of like an artwork burst of the Ranger lightning bolt. So very snazzy presentation, I do like that, but it also has a flap here, so it's Velcroed shut, and then you've got a shot of the figure there on the inside, but then you've got a window here so you can actually see the figure. So if for whatever reason you didn't want to take this guy out of the box, you could still look at him and not ever have to unseal him. So presentation is really nice on these guys. I really do like the box. It looks good. It's all very themed to the Ranger, but we got to do it, so let's pull him out and take a look. And here we go, out of the package, our ThreeZero 1/6 scale Mighty Morphin Green Ranger. Again, a figure, a line that I really didn't plan on buying, but, you know, when has that ever really worked for me? Not very often. And this is pretty cool. So this is probably going to be a gateway into getting at least a couple more. I mean, I've got red on the way, I've already said that. Kind of going to need a white one, right? And then we'll see how long it takes for me to get all of them, I suppose. So let's see what this guy can do. See how it moves around. It's kind of what you might expect. It's like an import level style figure when it comes to articulation. It just happens to be, well, 1/6 scale and fully clothed. Doesn't really pose too many issues, but there are a couple areas on this figure that I'm not that happy with. It's more due to design getting in the way of articulation more than anything being outright bad or anything like that. So to start with, we've got our head that can look like, I mean, all the way up, all the way down, really good tilt side to side. The neck does move as well, and then you've got full rotation here. Arms out at the shoulders. They do have ratchets in them, about that far. They will, of course, rotate, but this is where like a, you know, soft goods cloth is going to get in the way. So it can only go so far, but you're going to get him to go, you know, like all the way back or all the way forward. No issues there. There is a bicep swivel in there. You do have double jointed elbows. They're kind of squeaky, at least for me. You know, your mileage may vary. And then the area that I'm the least happy with when it comes to this figure is the wrists. Well, it's a tie for the wrists and the ankles. So they're just ball pegs or ball hinges, but the gloves really get in the way. The actual cuffs of the gloves, they really get in the way, and they just sort of hinder this because they're sculpted in a very specific way. They're kind of wrinkled, and they just get in the way. Like, there's really no other way to say it. They just kind of get in the way. It's not the end of the world. It's not like the biggest thing, but it is a thing because it's two separate pieces. They kind of bunch up, and they do want to fight each other for space when it comes to the hand versus that glove cuff. As far as the torso goes, you do have some twist in there, and then he goes backwards, and then he goes forwards. It's not perfect, but it's pretty good. You've also got some tilt up there also. Now, legs are, of course, going to be an area that's also a little bit hindered because of the suit. So legs go out about this far, but you can't really get him to go splits because then you're stretching the fabric, so, you know, beware. He kicks forward all the way, though. Like, that's really good. You've even got a little bit of back kick. You've got your thigh cut up in there. Double jointed knees. Oh, see, here's a foot problem. Really, really squeaky knees, just like the elbows, but they do have good range. Yeah, it's kind of wild. And then you've got your ankles down here, which are just straight ball pegs. So they kind of have pretty bad range, at least for me. There is just a ball peg, and it's the same kind of situation. So you've got like a little bit of a rocker action down here, and you can hinge forward some, but I swear to God, I just keep knocking the feet off. So like this is definitely a thing for me. Like I'm not the happiest with this at all. They will kick forward a little bit, and that's about it. Like about that far. It's not good. It's definitely not great. It's not good either. So that's probably one of my biggest pain points is the ankles, and then the feet, the hands, the gloves, everything around this area and this area. The rest of it's fine. Like he stands really well, poses really nicely, but you're gonna have to work with those feet just because of how this design is. The cuffs on the glove, on the boots rather, are sculpted in such a way that they're kind of angled. The gloves are sculpted in such a way that they're kind of angled. They kind of flow around almost, if that makes any sense. And it poses, no pun intended, some challenges when it comes to getting this guy to work with you with the hands and the feet. Now, all that said, I do have some gripes about the articulation, and you know, maybe I'm just having some frustration to pose certain parts of him. But when it comes to 1/6 stuff, more often than not, I mean, I don't buy a lot of this stuff. Like I really stay mostly out of this scale. It's for the looks. Like it's not going to be something that's going to be doing some crazy dynamic pose on a shelf for me, and that's not the end goal. It's really about a larger representation of something that also looks very good. This is a very good looking figure. So in that regard, these things excel quite well. You know, I've showed it once before, and I've mentioned it previously. I own, you know, screen accurate Power Ranger costumes. I've shown the red one, but I also have a green, and I have a white also. So I'm very familiar with what's going on with the components of this outfit and how this works. And the material itself here very much feels very reminiscent of what I have worn myself. As weird as that may sound, this material is very reminiscent of, you know, actual spandex that you would wear as someone dressing up like a Power Ranger. So it's pretty wild. It's pretty cool. All of the details here are very much in place. So the gold bands around the glove and boot cuffs are very much in place. The triangles on the glove cuffs and the boot cuffs are in place. Even the stitching design on the boots, which is like one of those little smaller details, is in place. The morpher is the correct color of gold. It's not silver because of course Tommy's is not silver. You've got the cover on the belt on the back, which is a pretty cool little call out detail. Of course, he has his diamonds on his chest, which we've seen missing in some interpretations of Green Rangers before. He's got his dragon dagger in the sheath over here, which does look really good. Of course, it's just, you know, kind of like a black faux leather, but it looks really nice. The gold power bands on his arms are floating pieces. They sort of cinch over top of the bicep, but they have a very, very nice sheen, very lustrous, and that, of course, all ties into the gold accents on the morpher, on the gloves, and on the boots, but more importantly, on that dragon shield. And this thing looks absolutely wild. One thing I really, really have to point out is under the right lighting circumstances, this guy absolutely just lights up. And I think I'm kind of doing that now because you can see the sheen on this material and then on this armor. I think it looks fantastic. Even the little symbols that are etched into the diamond look great. The ridges on the shield have a little bit of a different finish. The only way this thing could have been better is if they had gone that extra step and then also included the awful American only seen cloth shield. If that was included, it would have just been like, you know, icing on the cake. But as far as, you know, the actual shield, I think they nailed it. This looks really good, and the finish on it is just superb. It's really bright and vibrant and very lustrous, and that's kind of exactly what you want to see when it comes to something like this. But of course, one of the most important aspects of this figure is always going to be the helmet, the head sculpt, however you want to call it right now, because he doesn't come with an unmasked head or anything like that, which is fine. I would have never used it anyway. But it's the helmet. This particular head sculpt, I think, looks tremendous. The mouth is really nicely done. Good little details in there just to bring out that sculpt. And then, of course, you've got the silver for the mouth. You've got the deep black for the visor with all the teeth painted in, and then all of that line work that runs around the ridges of the helmet up here look great, especially, you know, the black around what would be the eyes for the dragon itself, and then the ruby on the top looks great. The head sculpt is really nicely done, and one thing I really like about it is that it's not super bright, vibrant green, because that's definitely not the color it's supposed to be. It should be a little bit muted in some ways. It's not like ultra bright green. It's not dark green either, but it kind of exists somewhere in the middle, and I think they've got it down pretty nicely here. So as far as a large scale Tommy, Green Ranger, Dragon Ranger, whatever you want to call him, Barai, whatever you want to call him in your display, this thing absolutely nails it in many, many respects when it comes to the looks, the aesthetic, and the overall design. Because one other little thing that really works for me is that this is not like some muscular Power Ranger. This looks like the Japanese suit actor in many ways. Smaller, fit Japanese stuntmen wore these suits, and I think that really shows here that this is very much in line with what you would actually see on screen, and not necessarily, you know, kind of like a muscular Jason David Frank. This is more in line of what I think of when I think of a suited up Power Ranger. Now, as far as accessories goes, this guy doesn't have a ton, but it basically has everything that I would need for this. It doesn't go out of its way to give us a bunch of just random stuff. It's all like the essentials, basically, which is to say you get the weapons and you get some hands, and that's it. And honestly, I'm perfectly fine with that, because all this stuff is all I'm going to use anyway. So to start with, we've got some hands. So he's got these sort of loose hands on him in the box. They're just sort of, you know, relaxed, at ease style hands there. So you've got 2 of those, and then we've got a set of fists. So you've got fists. Again, a set is 2. You've got a set of gripping hands, so just standard gripping hands here. And then we've got, that would of course make 4 extra hands, and then we've got 3 other hands. So you've got a right kind of gripping-ish hand. This is a lot of stuff you're going to use for the dragon dagger poses. So sort of a gripping hand here, loose but gripping-ish. You've got this one, of course, where he's playing the notes with the dragon dagger. And then we've got this one for the left to hold as well, and just in a different pose. So kind of two fingers extended, 2 fingers gripping with the thumb. So you've got 7 extra hands for a total of 9. And then we've got the Sword of Darkness here, which is, honestly, this is my preferred weapon. I love this thing. I love the design. I love the look. I like the, you know, the green with evil aspect of things here, but the design on it is really great. The inlay detail is really nicely done. Great paint applications. The red is super vibrant. You've got all this sort of inlay detail here, which has a ton of gold, and you've even got the little string with like the jewels that hang off the end. So I'm really, really happy with this thing. It's also really, really big. But of course, I mean, it's a Green Ranger, so where would you be without a dragon dagger? And of course he has one, so it's been on him the entire time. This thing also looks great. I mean, there's a ton of detail in this thing, because of course this is a super, super detailed weapon to begin with, because it is the combination of a dagger and a flute. So you've got you know, all the bits and bobs as far as how the actual dagger is played, how the flute is played. You've got the dragon sword symbol there, and just a lot of detail. All this green has texture to it. Great, bright, vibrant silver and gold. And I mean, this thing looks about as show accurate as I think it's going to get, especially at any kind of scale like this. So I think they really nailed it. And of course, you know, this thing can fit right back in the sheath over here, and he can have it on him, and he can hold the Sword of Darkness, or hold both, or whatever you want to do. But you've got plenty of options without going overboard and making this thing unnecessarily expensive, when, if you're like me, this is literally all you need anyway. So overall, very happy with this guy. Definitely have some gripes when it comes to the hands and the feet in terms of moving them around. They definitely have some challenges, no doubt about it. But this thing looks tremendous. It's a beautiful display piece, and there's no doubt about it. That spandex suit is absolutely killer. All the little details for a very screen accurate Green Ranger are present. The shield looks good. The colors are nice. They are very good as well in terms of accuracy, especially the green on that helmet. I think that's a really nice shade. I think they got that very close. And then of course, just the body type makes me think of those actual suit actors wearing this suit. He's not overly muscular, but he's definitely not too small either. It also comes with a really good array of accessories. It's not tons, but it comes with everything I need, so I'm more than happy there. And then of course, when you think about the fact that this thing is only $100, for all of this at this size with this level of detail and posability, honestly, it's a bit of a steal, and I'm really surprised that they're even able to do this at this price. So that's going to do it for this look at the ThreeZero 1/6 scale Green Ranger. Let me know what you guys think. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and share, and until next time.